could look out of line.
What's up, everybody? So this is a new video that we're reacting to about transracial. I guess that's a new thing where you can like identify as whatever race you want to identify as, which is beyond me. I mean, like really, I don't even have any words. Let's just get right into it, guys. I'm Rose. This is De Niro, aka Mr. and Mrs. Senin. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified every time we upload. Here we go. Because this is just... And it's a trend. So that's ridiculous.
Guys, I think I went down the craziest internet rabbit hole I have ever experienced. And now I need to take you along for the journey. Let's talk about it.
Oh, shout out to her. Like, what's her page called? Unapologetic, yeah. Go like and subscribe to her channel as well. She has a lot of
Before we get into this video, because I honestly need a minute, please like and subscribe. I want as many people to find this channel as possible, and especially this insane video, so you know what to do. Now let's talk about something called RCTA, and I'll tell you a story here. Taylor messaged me out of the blue and said, you need to check out this article. It's about people changing their race. I thought, this is going to be the same thing I've always seen, the Rachel Dolezals of the world, or that Ollie London guy who thought he was Korean when he really was white. But nonetheless, I click on the article. From MSNBC News, it says, inside the online world of people who think they can change their race. And suddenly, I was introduced to the group that is known as RCTA. What does RCTA stand for, you ask? Race change to another. Now, as all people do, I had to go to check out Urban Dictionary on this and get a proper definition of RCTA. It says it stands for race change to another. Basically, stupid people who think they can change their race. The Urban Dictionary definition goes on to say that it just seems like transracial in a different form so that these people don't come off as racist. Now, all of this sounds a little crazy, like maybe these people don't actually exist, there aren't actually people on the internet referring to themselves as RCTAs, so I set out on a mission to actually find somebody who was posting about this, and I think I found them. This is an RCTA individual who is posting on Reddit, saying that their English name is Vicky, but they identify as trans-Asian, specifically Chinese.
Aren't Asians and Chinese two different?
Now, in order to bring about this sort of identity for themselves, they've been watching Chinese dramas. It also says that they've been doing certain makeup tutorials to make themselves look Chinese. They've done Chinese workouts, learned the language, are exclusively buying from only Chinese brands, and this becomes really important, have listened to countless subliminals, and specifically Chinese subliminals. Now, what is a subliminal, you ask? Guys, come in. Sit down. Gather around. Subliminals are apparently videos that you can watch on the internet that while watching them will make you look more like the race that you are identifying as.
Yeah. True.
Now, I had to watch some of these at the risk of actually turning myself into an East Asian. I checked out these videos on YouTube. Here's one titled Forever Now, East Asian Appearance Subliminal, in parentheses, powerful, guys, okay? So we might come out looking East Asian after this. What the f***? If you read it says fatty tissue around and on the eyelids, creating tempered or monolid type eyelids, which is, typically seen in East Asian individuals. So this video, as you're watching it, is meant to subliminally change your face shape, and there are seeming...
I don't like to cut it when people are speaking, but to be honest, it's like so jokey. It's like I can't really be offended, and I just don't even really care.
Like, I want to know when these people are going to take their life serious.
Yeah, I don't really care. The only time I start to care is when they start to involve kids. So you guys are actually pretty irrelevant with whatever it is you're trying to do or doing. It's like cool, it's jokey, whatever. But as soon as it comes to the kids, it's like...
Like the trans community is trying to put trans in front of everything now to make everything okay.
Yeah, like you're not...
to make everything that is not logical.
Trying
to make it make sense. Like, it's crazy.
Too jokey, son. don't understand it. I can't even be
people who are actively watching this on YouTube and believing that this is happening to them. Here's another one that says epicanthic fold, which is another fold that Asian individuals have in their eyes. This is a subliminal that's meant to help you with that.
It worked on me. It worked for you. Why?
It is vector
It works for me,
similarity
it works for
search.
you. You'll wreck a
Or vector
discipline
search.
if you don't understand.
It's known as similarity search.
That's an Asian. That's an Asian impersonation.
I mean, clearly these are young women in particular that happen to be super obsessed with things like K-dramas and K-pop or Japanese anime, and then they're being influenced to believe that they could switch their race and somehow become more Asian. I'm just trying to imagine, like, what a day in the life looks like of one of the girls who thinks that they somehow can convert to being Asian. They're waking up in the morning, reading Chinese books or Japanese books. They're making ramen, I guess. They're doing their Asian workouts that they find on the internet, putting on their Hello Kitty headphones that they got out of their Blackpink backpack. This is wild. And then at the end of the day, they are turning on these subliminal videos and convincing themselves that by listening to this, they are changing the shape of their face. Wild. Now, this begs the question, right? Is this only happening for Asian demographics? Can I find subliminals on the internet that are made to make yourself black? And guys, it exists. There are subliminals that you can...
comment about it. Is this offensive to Asian people, to be honest?
Of course.
Just saying, like, what if they're like, but we're really Asian and we, like, got pride in this crap, like, whatever.
They're like, these are motherfuckers.
Or, like, or is it just, like, the government or someone else? Because I love the government, so maybe not them, but is there some third party trying to make everyone just hate themselves?
I feel like Chinese people should definitely be offended the most because, well, not the most, actually. I can't say that because, yeah, that goes for black people too. It's just like, weren't Americans just trying to, like, literally torture Chinese people in public because of the coronavirus and stuff? It's just like, it doesn't make sense. Now people want to be Chinese. Like, this is crazy.
Asian and Korean and all types of stuff.
Watch on YouTube that are convincing people that you will have more melanated skin upon watching them. Here's one. I think it worked. And clearly these people are also obsessed with the sort of kawaii Asian aesthetic because we're seeing it throughout these videos. What's even more interesting is the comments underneath these videos. Now, I can't tell if these people are trolling or if they're being serious and they think this is actually working, but here are some. This one says, "Thank you for making this. I'm African and throughout my entire life I was bullied, ridiculed, and teased for my light skin. I've always wanted darker skin, and I know that black comes in all shades, but this will give me closure. Thank you so much. I used to be insecure about my skin color, so I listened to subliminals to lighten my skin, and now I've realized that my skin was beautiful, so I'm listening to this so I can get my natural shade back." On the one for the eyes, people commented, "My eyes have actually started to look more round, symmetrical, and just cuter than before." This one says, "I usually do not comment on subliminals, but wow, this has worked very well. Honestly, I listened to this for about a week without looking in the mirror. I've listened about 2 or 3 times each time. It works so good. I hope your results come as fast as mine did. Good luck, everybody." You even have people in the comments who are initially commenting when they start listening to the subliminals and updating months later to let them know that they have in fact developed the fold that East Asian eyes have. Now, either this is some voodoo black magic or people are actually convincing themselves that they can listen to these subliminals on the internet and actually have a change in appearance and even a change in race. Now, as hard as it is to tell between real and...
So that's what a psyop is, for people that don't know what a psyop is. I'm really big on words. My vernacular is it's getting there. So basically a psyop is a psychological operation. That's a psychological operation by making me believe that I could psychologically that I can be whatever I want to be. So that's a psyop. And a psyop is really meant to hit the psychological because that's really where it counts. It matters what you think, and if I control what you think, then I can control what you feel, and if I can control what you feel, then I will pretty much control everything you do. So that's pretty weird, dude. I mean, it's just, I don't know, bro. That's just weird. They're not even showing videos about being blacker or being hipper or wearing your pants down. Even that would be ridiculous. But I'm saying they're saying these sounds.
Yeah, I'm honestly lost for words.
Like they're trying to get to that level, like to these sounds. Just listen to these sounds. Just meditate upon it. Meditate upon it, and they can open their eyes and just be like, see,
I'm black now.
I feel it. Like I really, really like. It's a placebo. It's called a placebo. It's all in your mind. Nothing's happening. Nothing's going on. It's psychological. It's a psyop. Another attack from the Matrix. But I'll just let her continue because I like how she's
when it comes to this RCTA community. There seems to be genuine people who are dedicated to these communities, dedicated to their transracial identities, and truly thinking that watching these videos, commenting in these chats, finding these tips and tricks is actually going to help them change who they are as a person, and more specifically, their race. It's very similar to the Ollie Londons and the Rachel Dolazows, who have a deep connection to their transracial identities. And I have to
like the whole entire... Like, listen, I don't know if I'm gonna get canceled for this or what is gonna happen, but like, I'm the type of person I have to say what's on my mind. Because
no, just articulate yourself in a way that's fair for everyone. Because you're still allowed to have your opinion.
Feel like all of this is just a way to like protect the feelings of delusional people. Like it's a world where we're trying to make it okay for people to just be delusional. And we have to live in that same delusional world now because those people have laws to protect them.
And it goes all back to like we're protecting the delusions of psychologically impaired people, right. And we're basically supporting their impairment. We're supporting their impairment by saying, "Oh, you think you're a tea kettle, nigga? You're a tea kettle." Like don't help them be more crazy. Don't help them be more confused. If you know the nigga saying he's something he's not, correct him. Don't hate him. There's nothing wrong with it's nothing wrong with the way that these psychological diseases has fallen upon them. Anybody can be retarded.
Come on, that's like a fat person coming outside and being like, I'm skinny today.
No, because I want to say this correctly, because anybody can be retarded. We're not mad at you for being retarded.
Right.
Maybe, okay, you like men or you think you're a girl or whatever it is. Cool, bro, but hold on. I'm telling you something's wrong now. I'm going to correct you. I'm not about to go along with you, I'm saying.
Yeah, and definitely don't, like, us as a people, don't go out of your way to, like, comfort this person and acknowledge this person's delusions and entertain this person's delusions, because like it's not fair to them. We have a friend that he's crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like he comes here and he's just always confused about who he is, and he's just like, I'm dark today, I'm gonna curse everybody with my, you know what I'm saying? And then he's just like, but I don't know, guys, I want to come to you because I think I had a dream about like Jesus and he was like leading me this way, and then this other person in real life, they told me that I had that dream.
Yeah, so long story short, not to cut you off, but we correct him on his delusions.
Yeah, like
in real life. We don't just sit on these videos.
I'm just like, listen, stop lying to me.
And yourself.
Because you know this didn't really happen in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not going to be okay with you coming to my house and like lying to me because you have these diagnosed with these problems. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, when you go around a retarded person and you don't acknowledge their retardations, sometimes you break people out of their like delusions. And
also where they're going with this thing, and she hasn't mentioned it in this video, but I mentioned it for you, and I'll probably show you a video to support it. Actually, F it. Basically, now there's trans age now. There's people saying, I'm 52, but I'm identifying as 12. It's fair for me to be with 12-year-olds. And that's what's going on right now. So that's the next thing. Why? Because we're supporting how people feel. Remember? I feel like a tea kettle. I feel like a woman today. I feel like, remember how you feel. Well, now we gotta support the people that feel like they're 12 and feel like they like little kids too then, right?
Yeah, but like what I was trying to say is that...
Is that fair to them? If they feel like they 12 and feel like... How is that on... See what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but...
So all across the board, we gotta say it's a dub for everyone. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm trying to say, because it wouldn't be fair to our friend if we allowed him, if we're just like, yeah, this is true, you're right, and then he goes outside and starts acting like that around people in public, and they're just like not with it, you know what I'm saying, and they're just not accepting it, and they're just being mean to him and bullying him now, because we're saying that it's okay to be this way, and he thinks that it's okay now. So he's gonna go do it to everybody, and not everybody is gonna accept it and treat him how we treat him. So I feel like that's not fair because you're setting them up for heartbreak, disaster, failure, disappointment. You know what I'm saying? Judgment. Like, it's not fair for me to say this person is a girl if they are literally not a girl. Like.
And also on this channel, I wanna really be big on purpose, and we don't mean to like speak over her, but we have to get this message through. Basically, purpose is like when we craft things, we make tea kettles to be a tea kettle. When we craft a chair, we make a chair to be a chair. We don't craft a chair to be a sexual object. We don't craft a chair to be a cooking tool. We craft chairs to be chairs. So when the Creator crafted man, he crafted a man to be a man and do what men do, and work how men work, and operate how men operate. And when he made women to operate how women operate and do exactly what a woman is supposed to do, what she was made to do. You understand? So what you're doing is taking away the purpose from somebody once you tell them, nah, you're not a tea kettle anymore. Now you're a, you see what I'm trying to say? You just took away that purpose of that man or that woman or that tea kettle or that chair. We have to be fair here. It's about being fair. It's about using sense that's common. It's not about rocket science. It's not Elon Musk here.
Point out that even though this is somewhat of a crazy subculture on the internet, it is indicative of a larger problem within our culture at large. Clearly, young people in particular are truly starting to struggle with their identity. I can't help but remind you guys that at the time that we're watching this video about race changing to another in this whole sort of community, we also have a massive battle surrounding transgenderism happening in this country, where young men and young women in particular are thinking that they can change their gender simply by identifying as another one and going through the blind affirmation process that is both social transitioning and medical transitioning to change who they are as individuals. And the thought occurred to me while falling down this rabbit hole that actually in many ways these people who claim to be transracial are making far more sense than those who say that they are transgender. Race actually is a social construct, whereas sex is binary, and we have the markers to identify that.
Transracialism makes more sense than transgenderism. Because race is actually a spectrum. Race is actually a social construct. Gender is binary. There's male and female, that's it. There's nothing else. Race is it's actually a social construct. Yes, it's based on our DNA and ancestral history, but these terms we use, nobody's actually black, nobody's actually.
Okay, we're in a retarded world. I get it. So if anything, let's just support the transracial thing because it's on a social level, so you could choose to partake or not on some social, but let's not start going to biologically saying.
That's what I'm saying. Let's not us as a people go out of our way to comfort these people, and now as me as a doctor, me giving you my professional medical advice should be you were born this way.
Because
you can't come into my office and say I'm a girl, and then change me into a girl, because that's me. Go ahead. I'll respect and understand the trans community completely if you guys can change the genetic buildup in your veins to be a boy. Don't say that, because I never.
No. It can't do it. They can't.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm saying that to say that they are literally finding ways
to do anything.
Like, yes.
No. But I challenge you guys then. I'm talking about down to the test level though, right or wrong. I want to be able to test your dietary.
I think it's.
Wait, can I say that word?
I think it's scary for you to say that, because it's just like our argument when this whole transgender thing for us as women, our argument was, well, you guys can't have babies, so you can't identify as a woman.
No,
you can't say that I'm not a woman because I have the sexual organs to make babies.
You know your friend, right? That's a guy now, right? Okay, I'm saying if she could change it, so I test her, and she genetically tests.
Babe, I understand what you're saying already.
Oh, so that
you don't have to keep on explaining. I'm speaking about something that is
completely different.
Yeah. Our last argument was that men couldn't have babies in their stomachs.
They can.
Then they made it possible for men to have birth.
No.
To give birth.
reminder from UPS Courier. If a customer needs to find back, contact the service center.
Scam called us.
Right.
But you guys get the point.
Really white. No one's actually these literal colors, right? If someone is mixed race, with the fact that we even call them black, right? If we call Drake black or we call Barack Obama black, right? They're just as white as they are black, but due to the social construct, we call them black in many cases.
But even with that logic being there, members of the RCTA community are being bullied and ridiculed all over the internet. There are people who are mocking them with their own separate videos, going on their videos to troll them, bully them, demean them, saying that they are stupid, that they are brainwashed, that it is not at all possible to be transracial. And while I may agree with the principle of what it is that they're saying, the tone is extremely demeaning when you compare to the blind affirmation that is being given to transgender people in our communities. Yet, with transgenderism and people like Dylan Mulvaney or Caitlyn Jenner or anybody who wants to identify as the sex that they were not born with, they are cheered on, they are blindly affirmed, they are pedestalized, they are told that they are the best of our communities. Yeah, this is not to say that we should go around bullying people who identify as transgender or even transracial. It's just to say that I would appreciate some consistency on these issues, given that transracial honestly makes far more sense than being transgender in today's time. How is it that it is so easy for people to detect that transracialism makes absolutely no sense, yet when it comes to transgenderism, we are just...
I will tell you guys why. Because in Satanism worship and like all of that stuff, devil worshippers, this the satanic book, the Bible of Satan, you know what I'm saying? Their rules are to live backwards. Everything must be backwards. So this is an agenda to keep pushing the dark ages. This is an agenda for everything to be backwards, for everything that makes sense to not be okay, and for everything that doesn't make sense to be okay. That's what this is about.
Also, they still have to keep it separated, like race-wise. They have to keep it separated race-wise, whoever they is. They have to keep it separated race-wise, because they can't have us thinking we all could be the same thing. So they're like, no, you guys are going too far with the transracial thing, like, because it's all perverted. It's about like perverted shit. So like men turn into women and women that's cool sexually, that people can benefit from that, but they're like, how can we benefit from people thinking they're a different race? They don't like that because people have to make money, bro.
Right.
This world's about money. There ain't no money in that.
Accepting it, and in fact allowing biological men to compete in women's sports, to be in women's spaces, and committing what I believe to be the erasure of girlhood and womanhood in our culture. All that aside, let's talk about what sits at the heart of everything that we've seen in this video. It is an identity crisis.
Wait, was that actually real?
That was real. That's what I was trying to explain to you.
Also, they're not trying to pass the law. It's already passed.
No, it's already passed. It's done.
I don't know, man.
So that is just the whole LGBTQ community trying to like
infiltrate sports. Yeah.
Erase women. Erase biological women.
Yep. Okay.
Because it's okay for a man who turned into a woman to be a woman, but it's not okay for a woman to be a woman anymore.
You have to call yourself a what? A cisgender.
Yeah, never.
I don't know what that is.
I am a woman. You are not. You are a person.
And it's an identity crisis of young people, and even more specifically than that, young women. I noticed immediately that within this race change community, young girls in particular are the ones who are posting on these forums, who are making these subliminal videos that they believe can change your race. They also happen to be one of the largest affected demographics when it comes to transgenderism, or believing that you are gender fluid, non-binary, having sexuality crises. Young women are going through a turbulent time in our culture, and they are not being pointed in the direction of health and wellness. They are being pointed in the direction of altering reality, changing your identity, whether that comes in the form of thinking that you are a different gender, thinking that you are a different race, photoshopping your photos before you put them on the internet, all these crazy filters that we're putting on our faces. Young women are bearing the burden of a larger identity crisis within our culture. And you know what? Where there is ample space to, I guess, ridicule these people on the internet, I can't help but understand exactly what they're going through. This resonates with me a lot, not because I think that I'm transracial, but because I myself am a young woman, and I've been an even younger one, and I know how turbulent that time feels, how much you question your identity. You all know that I was a very radical leftist who thought that my race was the most important part of who I was. For young black and brown people in our communities and all over the world. And if I was somehow feeling incongruent with that race, or feeling like it didn't truly show who I was as a person, why wouldn't you change that? It's very similar to what's happening with gender these days. If you are going through an incongruence in your body and with your mind, and you don't feel sound where you are and with who you are as a person, why wouldn't you run to the corners of the internet where you could change something and where you could feel accepted? And that's where these young girls are going, and this is exactly what they're finding. Instead of being the person on the internet to tell them, hey, let's go down the avenue of trying to accept exactly who you are, trying to come to terms with reality, confront reality. Even with all the woes and the terrifying parts, they're finding people who tell them to run from who they are as a person, to change who they are as a person. And you know what? If young women need to find that message in the form of a somewhat Asian kawaii subliminal, here's one for you. And guys, really that's it. We started off by falling down what is a extremely strange rabbit hole. I don't think anybody can deny that. But at the end, I think we found the heart of the issue is a crisis in identity and people not being willing to accept themselves, or maybe living in a society that doesn't accept them. And that's something that we should actively work to remedy. If we want to solve some of the major issues that we are all constantly talking about, complaining about, caring about, it often starts with acceptance. And I think for these young people who are finding this content on the internet, acceptance is the message that we need to share with them. But let me know your thought.
So look, before we end this video, you want to say anything?
Yeah. I want to say that nobody is perfect, okay? We all have our daily struggles, our mental struggles, our physical insecurities, you know? And a lot of us just learn how to live with it, how to not even live with it, but learn how to work to accept it, like she said. And that is not an easy thing to do. Just like how you guys had to prepare yourself for even bigger challenges when you made a decision to get a sex change. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't know how people were going to accept you. You just went into that world with open arms, expecting people to accept you, and then when people didn't, that hurt your feelings and that became a struggle. Just like how it would have been a struggle to go head on with your problems before you got a sex change. You know what I'm saying? Also, another thing too is like, don't ever feel like you can't speak up, like you're alone. For all those people that are confused with who they are, didn't make any rash decisions yet, I would say talk to somebody. If you don't want to talk to somebody close to you, go find a therapist, somebody that doesn't know your personal business, that can't use anything against you. It's okay to talk to somebody. It's okay to be confused, but ultimately, try to find who you are within you. Who you were born as is perfect enough. You know what I mean? There's somebody out there that will love you just as you are and for who you are. And that's what I have to say.
Always remember, guys, we in this thing called life together. And De Niro signing out.
Rose signing out. Peace.